Good morning everybody, Car and Biker here, just out exploring, and I thought I'd come and see something and show you something. I've seen it before, twice, once with Mrs. C, we then went on to crash, so that day ended badly, but I've seen it twice before, and I thought I'd come and show you because it's quite interesting. I was worried because Graham, Adventures with Woody, who was going around looking at lots of things as well and showing things. I shouldn't be worried about it, I can show you the same thing he's showing you, I'm sure. But I thought he was heading towards it in a video of his I was watching last night. But he wasn't. But it's one of the oddities, and I like the oddities. And it's related to another oddity, which he did actually mention. The other oddity that he mentioned is the Gypsy Race, which is a winterborn stream or a winterborn river, depending on how big it feels at the time. It's a really weird river. It goes in an odd windy pattern. It starts way over to the west in the Wolds Valley, which I think he was actually going to in either his previous video or an earlier video than that. It starts in the Wolds Valley and it kind of goes east a bit, then north a bit, then east a bit, then south a bit, then east a bit, and then vanishes entirely. And over again it goes off in weird directions and then vanishes underground and crops up again somewhere else. And it's a weird river because it's not there all the time, and sometimes it changes route. When there's a lot of water around, it goes through different places. It's a really odd thing, and I guess that's why there's a lot of folklore around it. And also, if you were to follow the main path of the bits of the Gypsy Race where people do know where it goes, and they don't know where all of it goes, the underground bits particularly, well, only. But if you do follow it, you find all sorts of Neolithic, medieval, Bronze Agey type relics and whatnot. And it's one of those that I'm popping to see now. But obviously, all these things all along this Gypsy Race, it's all burial mounds and circuses or carcasses, I don't know how you pronounce it, and standing stones, menhirs they call them, megaliths or monoliths, all along the Gypsy Race. Now I don't know if I can actually work out where the Gypsy Race goes. I know this road crosses it, and I might be able to stop and show you a bit of it. But yeah, because of its weirdness and the fact that people have linked all this folklore to it, it has one quite interesting bit of folklore, or I would call it coincidence, because I'm not one for the. I like the myths and legends, but I'm not one to believe them. Now it must be here somewhere where it crosses. I think I've missed it. I think I'm going to struggle. But one bit of the folklore is that when it's in flood in the summer, because generally in summer it doesn't flood. Generally in summer it's empty, and it's only in winter, hence the name Winterborn Stream. It's only in winter that you actually get to see water in it generally. So when it's in flood in summer, it's said to oh, that might be it. Let's stop here. It's said to predict bad times ahead. I think they call it something like woe tide or woe flow or woe something. Whoa, like Keanu Reeves. Whoa. I think this is it here. Let's have a look. I think it's woe tide. It's supposed to predict something that's going to happen that's bad that year. And it actually came up a lot. I mean, maybe it's just in that tide a lot, and most of the times people don't see it and it's just a quinky dink. But in the years of the Great Fire of London it flooded, in the year of the First World War it flooded, in the year of the start of the Second World War it flooded, and then there are a whole heap of other things, other times when it floods. There you go. Now then, there is actually a little bit of water just there. So I believe this is the Gypsy Race here. So it's dry, it's not flowing. So there's a bit of water there, but that's more of probably a puddle from the rain rather than it actually flowing in. And it heads up there somewhere. Graham, Adventures with Woody, will tell you this much better than me, because he knows stuff. As I said in a previous video, most of my stuff's just made up. And some of the stuff that I'm going to tell you about the thing I'm actually here to see, which isn't that bit of water, is made up, probably. Very, very probably. But not by me this time. So, jump back on the bike, go around the corner, and I'll do a bit of Suffolk Andy as well. So we are now in the village of Rudston, and just up here, where that wall is, I would imagine, yep, in fact I can see the thing that I'm coming to show you. So just behind this wall here, the retaining wall for all this stuff, is a church. There you go, there's a church. Suffolk Andy! And you might have spotted something odd in the church ground. So let me park up. That's probably the best place, isn't it? Behind that car with the flat tyre. And show you this thing. So here we go, Suffolk Andy! This is Rudston Church. And over there's the Rudston churchyard. Which is what I've actually come to show you. Well, I haven't come to show you a churchyard, I've come to show you what's in the churchyard. So around this corner is something you don't often see in a churchyard. There it is. And it's hard to give you an impression of size. Maybe if I go and stand next to it and put my camera down. Right, camera is down. Weave my way back through the various gravestones. And here it is. So this is the Rudston Monolith. And it's huge. It really is vast. There you go. This monolith standing 26 feet above ground level, brought here round about 2000 BC. And this is gritstone. You kind of have to touch it. I feel like it's going to change and it's going to be a bit 2001-y. Maybe I'll get intelligent. Should be nice. But yeah, it's enormous. So it's a huge slab of gritstone. It's about a metre thick. So not this way. This way. It's about a metre thick at its widest. And it's about a metre and a half. It doesn't even look a metre and it's got to be, hasn't it? It's huge. It's big. It's really big. Well, about a metre and a half across. And supposedly, depending on who measures it, I mean that says 26 feet. I've read variously 7.5 to 9 metres tall. But I tell you, it's bigger than me. If it fell over now, I'd be in trouble. Say it was brought here about 2000 BC. They say brought here. The place where this type of stone exists naturally is about 10 miles away, the closest place. So it's quite a distance to bring this thing. But they might not have brought it here as a, kind of carried it or rolled it. It may well have been brought here by glacial movement and then just erected. So yeah, 7.5 to 9 metres. I suppose it makes sense of 7.5 to 9 metres because one thing that they know for certain is this goes down more than another metre and a half. Apparently in the 1860s this churchyard was levelled and it was raised up, hence the retaining wall that you saw as we came in. And that buried a metre and a half of this beneath the surface. But there were excavations done many years before that, and the excavations seem to show that this actually carries on as far below the ground as it does above, which would make it huge. But, I mean, it's huge anyway. Even the bit you can see is 40 tonnes of rock. Now, that bit was all true. There are some bits that are maybe not true, maybe true. One of the bits that came up a few years back was they looked at some of these markings. Now, I'm not sure which ones they meant, so I'm looking now to see if I can see. They looked at some of these markings, and people thought that some of them might actually be dinosaur footprints. You can kind of see, actually. Maybe it's that. I don't know. And then if you look up there, I mean, even this bit down here, if you had a dinosaur kind of his foot like that, I don't know. But that was investigated and said to not be true. Or probably not be true. I like the idea that it might be true. The a bit of, is that old graffiti FW there? Certainly not new graffiti, is it? It's not spray can stuff. See at the top there, it's got a metal cap on it. That metal cap, in fact, I'll go and grab my other camera back. So back to the other camera now. And back up close. You might be able to see at the top. Quite hard to see. Let me see if I can zoom in a bit. The light doesn't help. It's a lot easier to see it here. There's actually a metal cap. Now apparently that metal cap was put on because the rain was starting to damage the top. And they lost a bit off the top apparently. Nobody knows where it is. But there is a second stone in here. A much smaller standing stone. Whether that's the same top or not, I doubt. I've not seen anything that says it is, but it's interesting to know it's made of the same stuff. So either they brought one, maybe they brought one really small one first and then thought, actually we can do better than that. Because the small one is really small, I'll show you in a minute. And thought we could do better than that and then went over the top with getting better because, you know, it's, it's probably not even 1/100th of the size of this one. But yeah, that metal cap was put on to stop it dissolving. Now the weird thing is, it's been here, you know, 4,000 years and hasn't dissolved, so I'm not sure a metal cap makes a huge amount of difference. Though acid rain, of course, always was that problem, wasn't it? Afternoon. The chap wandering off there, he just popped over. I thought he might be popping over to see what I'm up to, because you hang around in churchyards, people do wonder, don't they? But actually he came over, he said, well, you should get your bike on the video. So I was saying about doing a video about this thing, but he's telling me where I can get some information out of the church that I'll have to have a look at. Apparently they've got leaflets in there. I was having a bit of a chat about it. He was saying that they've actually dug down to the same depth down and still found stone there, so it definitely is at least double the height of this, and they didn't find the bottom, which is crazy, isn't it, to think that, how big this stone must actually be. Something I forgot to mention when I was digging down, and he didn't get told about in school, so who knows how true it is, but history suggests it's true. The record says that when they dug down, they found lots of skeletons and remains, human remains. And there's this suggestion that this was originally a pagan burial site, perhaps, or a pagan ritual site. I mean, certainly this was here before the church. There was a suggestion made at one point that the church, there was another church before this one here, but it doesn't appear in the Domesday Book of 1086, so that's probably not true. I said, you know, 90% of what I say isn't true, but so it's probably not true that that existed. What is true is that this stone was here much before this church, thousands of years before this church, and it's a standard thing that the church used to do. They'd find a religious or a pagan ceremonial site such as this, and they would build a church around it. So they actually built this church and this churchyard around this stone, and it's a standard thing. It's like your Christmas tree. You know, the Christmas tree is a pagan thing, not a Christian thing. Easter, originally, your Easter eggs and your Easter bunny and all that kind of thing was the pagan god Easter, who was a fertility god, and of course the Christian church took over that ritual as well. I guess it's a good way of getting membership, isn't it? To kind of fence it in. There was a suggestion that the church wanted to move the stone, but then kind of scratched their head and said, how? And the place here, Rudston, is actually potentially named after this stone. The stun meaning stone, and Rud coming from Rad, I believe, originally, which means cross. And when you actually look at this stone and the other areas around here where there are the burial grounds, burial mounds, they do appear to all line up to this and make a cross shape. So it could well be that this was the centre of the cross, and hence the name Rudston. The old church, the one that definitely didn't exist, the one that they said was here 1,000 years ago, but wasn't. There's quite an interesting little story, and again it depends how you read it and who's telling it for what the story says. But the story suggests that church was built here, And the devil was so annoyed at this church being built that he threw a spear of stone. That one in the middle of the picture. That he threw this spear of stone to destroy the church, but because of divine intervention, he missed. Or, if you believe the other stories, because there was no divine intervention, he smashed the church, and that's why they had to build this new one. So that's the stone, and the church, Suffolk Andy. And the churchyard. And then over in this corner is the last little thing that I'm going to show you. So a quick wander over to the corner. As quick as you can in boots like these. So over here in this corner is another bit of gritstone. Probably nothing to do with that original big stone. See this little bit here? It looks like it's been painted, but I suspect that that's actually just grown there. A lichen or a lichen, however you pronounce it. And then you've got this burial ground. And another one there, this little grave area. And this, being around here, you would think would be part of the burial of people who've been, Christian faith buried on the sacred ground. But apparently, this area is again Bronze Age. So ceremonial, probably somebody very important to that stone. But who knows? As I say, a lot of this is conjecture. I think I'll just do a quick lap of the church, see the back of it. I mean, it's a big old stone, isn't it? When you're at ground level, I could really do one of them drones to be able to fly up there and have a look at it. But when you're at this level, it's hard to get a feel, and it really will be hard to get a feel on camera for just how big that thing is. It's not as tall as the church roof, but I think, when I say it's hard to tell, I think it's taller than the bottom, the level at the bottom of the roof. Certainly a big chunk of rock. Let's have a look and see if I can see that leaflet. Unfortunately, no, I can't. Just a bit for you, Suffolk Andy. I know you like these kind of things. Here's your Rudston church. I like the way with the chandelier they've gone all low energy light bulbs. There's a bit of a picture for you there. So we're here, there's a monolith. The cyst at the back, one of them was a Roman sarcophagus. So as your outer stone, Roman sarcophagus. There you go, I've learnt something new. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, everyone. Thank you for watching. Ride safe. Suffolk Andy. Oh no, sorry. And I'll talk to you all again soon. That's proper flat.